Hello, I'm David Kerr and you are watching Shalom World News. Here's your latest news headlines from around the globe. The bishops of the United States have both offered prayers and struck a note of caution in response to this week's inauguration of Joe Biden as the 46th US President. In a statement issued on Wednesday, Archbishop Jose Gomez, the President of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, asserted that President Biden is, quote, pledged to pursue certain policies that would advance moral evils and threaten human life and dignity. Archbishop Gomez expressed particular concern regarding President Biden's views on abortion, contraception, marriage and gender. He also expressed, quote, deep concern for the liberty of the Church and the freedom of believers to live according to their conscience. Striking a more emollient tone, Archbishop Gomez also said he prayed that God would grant President Biden, quote, the wisdom and courage to lead this great nation, and that God would help the new president to heal a divided American society. Meanwhile, in an unusual move, that statement by the US bishops was later openly criticised by one of its members. In a series of tweets, Cardinal Blaise Cupich of Chicago condemned the statement as, quote, ill-considered, suggesting that the comments of Archbishop Gomez did not, quote, represent and enjoy the considered endorsement of the American bishops. The Catholic Church in England has intervened in the case of a Polish man who is a patient in an English hospital and who, it is claimed, is being, quote, sentenced to death by starvation. On Wednesday, 2 English bishops wrote to the UK government's Health Secretary Matt Hancock following a court ruling allowing the withdrawal of food and water from the practising Catholic man identified, for reasons of patient confidentiality, only by the letters RS. According to reports, doctors at a hospital in the city of Plymouth decided to withdraw assisted nutrition and hydration from the Polish man who is in a coma after suffering a heart attack in November. In their letter to the Health Secretary, the bishops state that providing food and water to very sick patients, even by assisted means, is, quote, a basic level of care, which must be given whenever possible unless it is medically indicated as being overly burdensome or failing to attain its purpose. The letter was signed by Bishop Mark O'Toole of Plymouth and by Bishop John Sherrington of Westminster, who has responsibility for life issues for the Bishops' Conference of England and Wales. The letter was issued a day after the president of the Polish Bishops' Conference, Archbishop Stanislaw Gadecki, appealed to his English counterpart, Cardinal Vincent Nichols of Westminster, to intervene in the matter. Archbishop Gadecki said the case has, quote, shaken the Polish people, whose government were now willing to pay for the repatriation of the Polish man, whom he described as, quote, being sentenced to death by starvation. The UK government is yet to give a public response to the bishops. In 2014, Islamic State militants destroyed the great Al-Tahira Immaculate Conception Cathedral in the northern Iraqi city of Bakhdida, along with a statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which sat atop the historic church's bell tower. Well, 7 years on, the IS militants are now gone, the cathedral has been restored, and now the Blessed Virgin Mary is back gazing over the city. Here's the scene as the sizable Marian statue was hoisted back into place this month. Bakhdida, also known as Karakosh, is situated 20 miles southeast of the city of Mosul. It sits on Iraq's Nineveh Plains, a part of the country where Christianity has been present since the 1st century. That unbroken history was threatened in 2014 with the invasion of Islamic State, who destroyed the city's Syriac Catholic Cathedral and used its outer courtyard for target practice. IS were pushed out in 2016, however, and Christians have been returning to the city ever since. Meanwhile, Iraq's most senior Catholic has composed a prayer for the clergy and lay faithful of the country to recite at Sunday Mass in the weeks running up to the visit of Pope Francis, which is due to take place in March. Cardinal Luis Rafael Sacco, who is the Patriarch of Babylon of the Chaldeans, says the papal visit is of such historic importance that Iraqi Christians should prepare for it, quote, nationally, ecclesiastically and spiritually. The 4-day papal itinerary will include a visit to Baghdad, to the plain of Ur, which is associated with the Old Testament figure of Abraham, to the city of Erbil, as well as to the previously mentioned cities of Mosul and Bakhdida. This will be the first time that a pope has travelled to Iraq. Cardinal Sacco says he hopes the papal visit will be an opportunity for Iraqi Catholics to, quote, think, review, analyse and launch a new vision for the Church in Iraq. Sunday saw thousands of pro-life activists take to the streets of Paris for France's annual March for Life. Despite COVID restrictions, an estimated 5,000 people, including many bishops, took part in person, with another 10,000 participating virtually. The pro-life movement in France is currently facing numerous challenges, with the French Parliament currently considering legislation to extend the time limit for abortions from 12 to 14 weeks, also to extend the legal period for the use of the abortion pill from 7 to 9 weeks, and also to permit abortion up to birth on the grounds of, quote, psychosocial distress. At the same time, 2020 has also seen a record number of abortions across France, with 96% of all babies with Down syndrome now being legally killed in the womb before birth. Meanwhile, Catholics across the United States have begun a Novena for Life. The Novena, or 9 successive days of prayer, began on Thursday. It's the initiative of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Pro-Life Activities, which is chaired by Archbishop Joseph Gomez of Kansas City. Each day will see dioceses across the country live stream prayer events for the protection of human life, including masses, rosaries and holy hours. The overarching intention of the Novena is the end to abortion. The Novena encompasses the annual day of prayer for the legal protection of unborn children, which takes place on January the 22nd. Finally, Pope Francis has appointed a new secretary to the Vatican's Congregation for the Causes of Saints. He's Bishop Fabio Fabeni. The 61-year-old Italian cleric has spent the past 7 years as the Under-Secretary of the Vatican department that organises the Synod of Bishops. He now replaces Archbishop Marcello Bartolucci, who is stepping down after completing 10 years of service at the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. Well, that's all for now. Do join me next time for some more news headlines from around the world. Until then, may God bless you. Shalom.